In terms of the standards, where does Wi-Fi 6 fit?
Yes, Wi-Fi 6 is completely different from previous Wi-Fi standards like Wi-Fi 4 and Wi-Fi 5. Both Wi-Fi 4 and Wi-Fi 5 focused on a single user operation. So at any point of time, one user can transmit, and who gets the right to transmit is always based on random process actually. So it's not a schedule. In Wi-Fi 5, some of multi-user operation got added in downlink multi-user MIMO. So actually the access point can transmit to a number of users, up to 4 users actually at any point of time. Wi-Fi 6 got like all the way in terms of how many users they can support. It's all about multi-user transmission. So it added OFDMA, or orthogonal frequency division multiple access, which allows the multiplexing of many users on the same channel. It also added uplink multi-user MIMO in addition to the downlink multi-user MIMO. So these two technologies together can be combined actually in order to support large number of users. So the support of multi-users actually is key for Wi-Fi 6.
What are some of the key technologies that Wi-Fi 6 has inherited from 5G?
Yeah, okay, so OFDMA is not new technology, like it's not newly introduced for Wi-Fi 6. OFDMA actually was in use in 4G, and of course continued to be used in 5G as well for a number of years. So OFDMA is one of these technologies. The other one, of course, is multi-user MIMO, which is well-established technology. It got deployed in 5G, and Wi-Fi 6 actually extended its operation to include uplink and downlink. That's, of course, a major difference from Wi-Fi 5.
So Huawei is a recognized leader in terms of 5G. What's their contribution, though, in Wi-Fi?
Yes, so when we started the project Wi-Fi 6, Huawei was one of the leaders actually in defining the project scope and what objectives need to be satisfied. And we continue actually participating in Wi-Fi 6 and leading the process as well. So we have about 240 submissions actually to the committee working on Wi-Fi 6, and these submissions actually cover all aspects of standards like OFDMA. It covers special reuse, it covers extended range, so it covers many aspects of the standards. And many of these proposals actually found its way into the draft standard as well. So Huawei actually has very significant contribution during the development of Wi-Fi 6 standard.
So how does that contribution help position Huawei in terms of implementation?
Oh, Huawei, in terms of implementation, of course, Huawei products is going to adhere to standard Wi-Fi 6 anyway, and of course in order to allow interoperability with other equipment as well. But Huawei actually, and due to the heavy 5G research, we also add Huawei specific improvements as well. Just a few examples. One of them, of course, is smart antenna, where it actually allows the coverage of 100% coverage, so there's no blind spots, and having 100% coverage improve the delay. It also improved the reliability, since the transmission is always actually being monitored. The quality of the transmission is always being monitored, and if the quality drops, can switch actually to another antenna element that should provide better performance. Another thing actually is the lossless roaming or handoff. So basically, Huawei implement the make before break. So if a client is walking between access points, and before it deassociate with the current access point, it actually establishes the connection with the next access point, so it doesn't suffer any drop in the performance.
So what's next then in terms of Wi-Fi 6 in the future?
Oh, so Wi-Fi 6 actually is very important because, as I mentioned, it's different from Wi-Fi 5, and it's going to be the foundation for any future development. Wi-Fi 6 cover number of channel bandwidths like 20, 40, 80, and 160. Because of the availability of new spectrum and the expected availability of a big spectrum, actually, people are thinking of even going to a higher channel bandwidths, and 320 megahertz is being discussed actually in at the IEEE 822.11 working group. So this is not going to be a new thing actually. It's of course will require hardware adjustment, but it's going to be based on what we have in Wi-Fi 6. So the 320 megahertz is not going to be any new. It's 260 megahertz channel are put back to back, and here you go. I mean, you have a 320 megahertz. So Wi-Fi 6, as I mentioned, is going to live with us for some time. Any evolution is going to be based on Wi-Fi 6, how we do things. And yes, I think it's safe investment for the customer to upgrade to Wi-Fi 6, and knowing that any future will be based on this technology.
Sure.